Hello everyone, this is Leigh Margaux Dianasas, and for today's lesson, we'll be discussing the lesson 3 developments in the bureaucracy. And students, you should listen carefully because in this lesson, there are random questions that you need to answer. So by the end of this lesson, we should be able to learn about the concepts, principles, and characteristics of bureaucracy, discuss what is Philippine bureaucracy and its structure, and also identify different problems of the Philippine bureaucratic behavior. But before we proceed to our proper discussion, I have a question for you. So, in your own words, what is bureaucracy? So, to continue, according to Green 2005, bureaucracy as an organization refers to assembling various elements of labor and expertise. So, this enables the bureaucracy to work the complex task for it to be accomplished. So, labors and expertise in the working stations or in government offices. And second one, bureaucracy is the totality of the government offices. That so that political leadership may function properly despite of the respective changes of the government. And now for the third one, according to Danilo Reyes, 1993, bureaucracy refers to the administrative system of the state or of government. So, which is tasked with the functions of administering, enforcing, and implementing public policy driven from the demands and needs articulated by the constituency and given substance and formality by the policy making bodies. So, bureaucracy also has this informal usage, the red tape and inflexibility. So, red tape and inflexibility frustrates people who deal with or who work for organizations. So they perceive this red tape and inflexibility as bureaucratic. So 1930s, this Max Weber is a German sociologist who wrote a rationale about the bureaucracy. So, according to Max Weber, he described bureaucracy as the ideal way to organize government agencies because of its efficiency. However, people often criticize bureaucracy for its rigid rules and efficiency. Yun na nga. So, the red tape. So under Max Weber, he also have these three types of authority. But before we tackle those three types of authority, let me ask you. So a question: what are those three types of authority? I know some of you are familiar with these three types of authority. To continue, those three types of authority is we have the rational legal authority. So this is based on established laws, rules, and regulations. So rational legal authority is the ideal type of bureaucracy. So for example, the voting process of our country. So number two, we have the traditional authority. So this authority is based on customs, traditions, and the long-standing practices. And number three, charismatic authority. So charismatic authority is hard to maintain. And charismatic authority is based from the personal qualities or the influences of a leader. So in modern governance, rational legal authority is the most common. However, in some cases, traditional and charismatic authorities still play a role in leadership decisions. One of the principles of bureaucracy, we have the hierarchical structure, but let me ask you, what is hierarchical structure in your based on what you understand? So we have six principles. Number one, so yung questions kanina, a formal hierarchical structure. So a formal hierarchical structure in a bureaucratic organization, so each level controls the level below it. Also, the level above it controls it. So authority flows from the top to bottom. Now we number two, rules based management. So the organization uses rules to exert control. So decisions are based on strict rules. Therefore, the lower levels seamlessly execute the decisions made at the higher level. So number three, the functional specialty organization. So specialists do the work. So work is assigned based on the skills of the um, employees in the offices or the employees. So they do the certain work based on what they know. Number four, the up focus and in focus mission. So up focus, it is serving the external agencies, and in focused is serving the internal agency. We have impersonal, so bureaucratic organizations treat all employees equally. So this prevent favoritism. Number six, we have employment based on technical qualification. So selection as well the and promotion or hiring of the employees based on technical qualification and skills. So hiring and promotion depend on these skills. Now let's move on to the characteristics of bureaucracy. Number one, large and complex organization as measured by the number of people it employed. Always remember that bureaucracies are large and complex. Number two, majority of those employed were semi-skilled and unskilled works. So most workers perform their routine tasks rather than creative work. Number three and four, bureaucracy rely on simple mass production technology, and they also rely to simple processes. Next is we have the characteristics for analysis bureaucracy. Number one, positions and offices or the responsibilities are clearly defined. Number two, the hierarchical arrangements of authority, rights, and obligations are specifically established. So we in bureaucracy we have this structured hierarchy. Now for number three, the personnel are selected based on technical and professional qualifications. Number four, there are defined rules governing official behavior. So in this, employees have this job security. Number five, security of tenure and pursuit of career with promotion in the hierarchy are assured, so they can advance in their careers. Now, one of the characteristics of Philippine bureaucracy is nepotism. So we will tackle that later. But in based on what you understand and what you know, what is nepotism? Now moving on to Philippine bureaucracy. So Onofre de Corpus, as cited by Leverisa 2008, made a study of the actual operations of Philippine bureaucracy. So the earlier I asked question about nepotism. So One of the actual operations of Philippine bureaucracy is we are vulnerable to nepotism. So, what is nepotism? So, it is hiring or nepotism is favoring family or relatives instead of these qualified individuals. Number two, we have the perpetuation of the spoil system. So government jobs are given as a political reward. Now, number three, we have the apathetic public reaction to bureaucratic misconduct. So in this, citizens are rarely protest about these bureaucratic misconducts. So they turn blind eye about it. Number four, availability of external peace means of correcting bureaucratic weaknesses. So in this, constitutional rights, the privileges like freedom of expression, freedom of the press, used for repairing defects and misdeeds in the bureaucracy. Now, we have number five, survival of historical experience. As we all know that we we are administered um, according to the system prescribed by the Spaniards or the um, colonizers. So Filipinos blames the system's defect on colonial influences. Number six, we have non-special typing of bureaucrats. In number six, ha, the officials lack on technical skills. So there are inconsistency due to the varying levels of expertise. Number seven, lack of independence from politics. So as we all know, um, ca- government is administered or administered of the politicians. So the politicians can easily manipulate the system for their own interest. Number eight, the last actual operation for the bit of the Philippine bureaucracy. So number eight, essential instruments for social change. So we have these tools for innovations. So these can make it is a vital force in rational changes. Moving on to the connotations in Philippine bureaucracy or the negative perception. Number one, the bureaucracy is seen as flawed and government reforms have lacked impact due to weak political will. Now, they see bureaucracy as inefficient. It also failed to produce significant impacts in terms of enhancing efficiency, effectiveness, and responsiveness of the bureaucracy. So, people in the bureaucracy are perceived in varying degrees of inadequacy and imperfections are not ideal at all. So, number two, unable to attract the best and the brightest. They seen the civil service as unattractive, so that results to unable to attract the top talent because of the low salaries and um, poor growth, poor career growth. Yun. Now for the number three and four, they are somewhat the same. So placement or promotion in government bears no sense of merit. Rather, it is based on utang na loob or debt of gratitude for recommending officials. So those job promotions are basically based on whom you know and not what you know. So civil servants often work out of compliance, not commitment. So they do their jobs of because it is needed and not because they are committed to it. Number six, the opportunities of corruption is present. Number seven, security of tenure. So this means that Employees or officials are protected from unfair dismissal. Number eight, the last connotation or negative perception is the red tape and efficiency. So you already know that. Now, because you already know the red tape and efficiency, so in your own words, what did you understand about red tape and bureaucracy? The policies. So employees in the bureaucracy or in the government offices follow rules strictly. So there are systems of organizing people and work in a structured way. Number two, preference towards continuity and routinization. So in the Philippine bureaucratic behavior, innovation or change is often discouraged because they will lose their chance to get what they want. No, so number three, loss of self-direction and self-assertion. So employees avoid independent decision making. Number four, the last, politically supportive. So the bureaucracy often aligns with political figures. Now, while these behaviors um, ensure stability, they also contribute to inefficiency and lack of motivation in the workforce. So to end this lesson, the ideal bureaucracy that was envisioned by Max Weber is still in the process of development in the Philippines. So despite of those connotations and prevailing perceptions of the Philippine bureaucracy, still it is significant to note that the government never stopped on its efforts in re-engineering the government in more serious, calculated, and um, s- strategic way. So the government is the only facilitator, the enabler, and the catalyst or the champion of the greater mass of people who have little to no access to the opportunities and benefits of development. Students, let us always be reminded that civil servants should not aim for profit or gain. Their main goal is to serve citizenry. However, this goal escaped the minds of the few who chose the path of personal interest, bowing to the call of greed and power, trampled on laws, and make a mockery of the government, casting a negative light on majority of the civil servants who are honest and law-abiding. Change could not be attained overnight. It is a tedious process where everyone must take part. So it is about time that everyone must come to terms with the fact that working in and for the bureaucracy entails a lot of sacrifice and dedication. We can all do something for our country instead of complaining, finding faults, and blaming others for whatever has gone wrong. We should look into ourselves and try to do little things that, when we put together, will make all the difference. So that would be all. Hope you learned something, and God bless.